and it's genuinely out for the public's interest, if they stumble across the little secret deals and slush funds and, you know, money manipulation, if they open their mouth, they'll find their butts kicked down the street so fast, you know, their heads are going to spin. The structure is set up right now, right from the judiciary to the politics, to have only the key level players that are cooperating with the game, running the show. The public sits there going, oh, gee, is there something wrong here? Okay? It comes down to the money. Arizona's a perfect example. If you look at 1984's Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, which covers 1983, the service budget for the state, just state government now. When I mention a state comprehensive annual financial report, it's just state government Inc. Not the cities, not the counties, not the school districts. State government Inc., its service budget was $1.8 billion in 1983. Total cash gross receipts, their total gross receipts was $2.1 billion. About a $300 million difference between the budgetary basis and the total they were bringing in. Let's jump ahead 15 years. Current service budget exceeding $14 billion. Total gross receipts, $22 billion. In the course of 15 years, a 1,000% increase in the revenue taken directly out of the populace's pocket by state government Inc. That is unacceptable by any terms in any free society if it wishes to remain free. The vault door is left wide open. Now, as I mentioned on the disclosures, I started for national disclosure June 8th of '98 after being motivated from the locals in Prescott, the little syndicate. Reached the people. I presented now, after disclosure, the next step was presenting remedy. The remedy being, if you look at the existing surpluses, the venture and enterprise projects and holdings which government now has, which no way can they be justified. I just want to see a show of hands here. How many people know of a city or a county that owns a golf course? Can anyone justify any one reason why a government entity should own a golf course? For pleasure. Okay, well, that's why private companies own golf courses, so that they can sell pleasure to people who want to go. I guess maybe by the city or the county owning the golf course, the judges and the attorneys can get lower green fees. That may be the reason for them holding a few $1 billion in assets. The remedy, you consolidate surplus revenue. Arizona currently, if you look at combined government, state government standing on about $12 billion in surplus revenue. If you look at cities, counties, and so forth, the whole spectrum, you'd probably get up to about $30 billion in surplus revenues which are not being correctly used. So you consolidate surplus revenues. You look at venture and enterprise projects which should be sold back to the private sector, which no way in hell should government be owning, golf courses, real estate spec ventures, and the like. Generates a phenomenal amount of money, selling back at fair market value. You also look at overgrowth for downsizing where appropriate. Not appropriate, don't downsize. Appropriate, downsize. All three areas generate a phenomenal amount of revenue. You take this revenue, consolidate it into an annuity trust fund set up for the benefit of the resident property owners and taxpayers, whereby it is written in stone that the return from the annuity pension fund goes to satisfy the budgetary requirements of, you start on the county level, of that county, the cities, the school districts, and the authorities. Okay? I've been asked to speak all over the country for the last 2 years, including the Republican convention in Orange County. I said no. California, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina. But Steve asked me a couple of weeks ago, would you come down and address the Phoenix Breakfast Club? This is my home state where I intend to stay, and it's time to kick a little butt in this state. I may start back in Prescott, but after you get the structure going here. But the bottom line is, I put the word out also for funding for the last 9 months. A group from the East Coast has stepped forward to fund the project to target one county in the country. Now, a lot of people immediately ask me, Boulder, is it going to be Arizona, Yavapai County, where you live? My response was, no, I don't want to get shot. I'm going to pick someplace far away from Arizona first. I said Arizona can be maybe about 6th, 7th, 8th in line after the ball's in the motion. They may take it too personal if I start here first. But the money's going to be there to go in with a group of auditors. We're going to go into that county. I can't tell you which one yet. We're going to surprise everybody. We'll target surplus revenues, venture and enterprise projects, and we're downsizing as appropriate. Take the raw data, approach an institutional banking or insurance conglomerate to have them review the data, verify the data, go in and find what we missed, and then write a prospectus on implementing the annuity pension fund for the resident property owners and taxpayers. Okay, showing the crossover dates from the return equaling the budgetary requirements, the crossover dates for when a buffer zone is created to phase out all forced taxation within that venue of that county, the crossover point for running into an additional surplus whereby the resident property owners and individuals in that county will get an annuity dividend check back on top of no forced taxation. That is the way it should have been 100 years ago. But it cut back on a lot of corruption and grant. Now, I was talking to a heavyweight out in California. He goes, Walter, that's a beautiful plan. That's excellent. That's the way it should have been. But how do you possibly envision setting up such a massive structure to implement the program? My response was, I said, it's already been done. He goes, what? I said, composite government pension funds, local governments, federal governments, have reached $28 trillion, keyword, trillion dollars, after generating $4.3 trillion last year. Now, adversaries would say, oh, there's not that much money. Look, California only holds, CalPERS is the largest in the country, $1.8 trillion. Well, actually, CalPERS is not mandatory for participation. All local governments within California, total pension funds were about $4 trillion in California. You look at all the rest, it's $28 trillion. Total taxation in this country, personal and corporate. If you look at the federal combined financial statement, I have a CD disc here with all state comprehensive annual financial, most of them, I missed 2 or 3 states, on the CD. The federal government combined financial statements on that CD, and being that I'm from Arizona, I also put Maricopa County as a capper on that CD. But the total taxation shown in the federal combined financial columns, in the notes section, 1999, total personal income, everyone in the country, government employees, factory workers, Bill Gates to the guy at McDonald's, wages, salaries, investment income, was $8.2 trillion in 99. Total taxation, both local and federal taxation. Federal was $1.8 trillion, local about $1.6 trillion. Total taxation was $3.4 trillion. So the total personal income of the entire nation, net after taxation, was $4.8 trillion. Is everybody with me? Okay. So all of us, everyone in this country, every person, $4.8 trillion net after taxation. Now, everyone always thought, and I thought 10 years ago, I said, government survives. All taxes, fines, and fees. So that's 100% of their income. That was the illusion I was living under. When I started looking at the revenue flow, total income, as IRS looks at us, total income, as they report our total income, if you look at total income, only 1/3 of government's taxation of income comes in from taxation. 1/3 of their income comes in from taxation. 2/3 of the income comes in from the return on the investment funds, enterprise and venture project income. Now, there are specialty investment funds. I mean, we left the vault open. They've been taking money from us in any way, shape, possible, and form. Okay? One of the things I learned 10 years ago, which steamed me the most, the thing that really upset me the most, I saw in New Jersey, in their comprehensive annual financial report, they had $14 billion in insurance company equity participation. I said, what's the insurance company equity clusters do? Started checking, found out the feds created a law for the insurance companies for the creation of a major catastrophe fund. In the event of a major hurricane hitting the East Coast, 1 million homes are wiped out, a couple million automobiles, a big earthquake in California, so that the insurance companies could cover the liability. Under the major catastrophe edict from the federal government, they had to put up 1/3 of the face value of the policy that they write to cover against catastrophic loss. This equated to a few $1 trillion, which the insurance companies didn't have. The feds gave them 10 years to implement the program. At the end of the 10 years, 94% of the revenue requirement was satisfied by state and federal investment funds. I looked at the rate of return they were offering was at 2.2, 2.4% interest, well below prime at the time, so the insurance companies had no other choice. Well, what this means to you in real term, auto comes under the major catastrophe fund. I'll use Arizona as an example. My auto insurance premium is $658 a year. Minimum coverage is $30,000 a year. The 1/3 deposit rule means $10,000 has to be up on deposit. That $10,000 being provided by state and federal investment funds, that's a 5% return for easy accounting, that's $500 a year return back to the federal government and state government investment. So that means under this example, the $658 I paid to my insurance company, the insurance company is only getting $158. $500 is going back to the government. Do you ever wonder why they enforce mandatory insurance laws by armed force in this country? Massive investment fund generation. I took this a step further. I called the Division of Motor Vehicles in Phoenix to find out the total number of registered cars in the state of Arizona, both commercial and non-commercial. I then called the insurance company data banks to find out the total liability claims paid for all insurance companies operating in the state of Arizona for the year. Total payouts for all claims. I then added on a 35% markup to that figure, allowing for a profit margin, which is not bad for a paper company. I then divided it by the total number of registered vehicles, and in Arizona, you have to be a registered vehicle and have insurance to be registered. Guess what the average annual insurance premium came out to be? $126 a year. I never would have known unless I looked. And the money that's involved there, no one's going to tell you, unless you look. I started looking at insurance company prospectuses to find out where they disclose that. They didn't openly disclose it. They factored it into their operating costs on the return rate. They listed it more as a debt for payment back on on a debt, but it was actually the payout on the return on the investments. The major catastrophe fund was held by Farmers Insurance up to about 3 years ago. It was standing at about $11 trillion. Okay. The bottom line is, if you look, whether it be crime on the streets, whether it be drug abuse in the country, whether it be the breakup of the families, you have to ask yourself the basic fundamental question. How much money is that making my city, my county, and my state? Billions of dollars. They are perpetuating their own marketplace. They're promoting the perpetuation of their own marketplace on the syndicated media to you. So everybody sits there and goes like, oh, we need more money on social programs. Oh, we need more money to fight crime. Oh, we need more money to fight drug abuse.